Hello, One Piece enthusiasts. I'm the One Piece nerd, and today let's talk about the Straw Hat's biggest failure. So, ever since post time skip, the Straw Hats have never failed in any of their missions. Well, missions, adventures, whatever. The biggest setback, or perhaps the only setback they've had in the story as a group, was at Saba Odi. And the only reason I brought this up right now is because remember in my chapter review when I said the Kizaru and Kuma and Sentemaru would be coming to Egghead Island, and it sort of resembles Saba Odi, and it's time for the Straw Hats to get a payback. So ever since I brought that up, I felt like I needed to talk about this and get this off my chest. It's gonna be a relatively short video compared to my usuals, but I just wanted to tell you guys what I feel like I wanted from the story, but I probably won't get. Now, before we move on, make sure to like and subscribe. It helps the channel out a lot. Now that you have, let's begin. So let's talk about the biggest failure. Saba Odi was perhaps, in fact, one of the most intriguing arcs, fast-paced and the most intriguing arc I've ever seen in One Piece. It's like one of those arcs that had a lot of events clustered together and then just brought to the table, where we had almost seemingly no build-up. The supernovas were built up. Supernovas were basically introduced and then shown immediately, like in a span of like 10-15 chapters. We had Rayleigh, we got the whole slavery thing, underground slavery world information, Doflamingo, got to know a little bit about, what Doflamingo's brand was like, and then we moved on to the Marines attacking, and then the Straw Hats get separated. Everything just happened all of a sudden, and I feel like I wanted something like that ever since Saba Odi, just one more time. My biggest theory when Mr. Morge was coming up with the raid failing, is I always at some point did want that, because that raid failing, if the raid did fail, and it would have been great, because the last time the Straw Hats failed, they got a huge power boost. They had to rethink what they were doing. They had to understand where their position was and how they needed to get back up and how they needed to get stronger. But Oda handled it quite well. I'm not saying Oda did it bad. What I'm trying to say is the growth that the Straw Hats had after Saba Odi up until post time skip is one of the best improvements, or if not one of the best sort of low points of the characters to one of the highest points of the characters in a few short arcs. I've never seen that from anyone, honestly. From most anime I can remember, like from a failure to train and then get back up. Yeah, it has happened, but not to this scale. And where Luffy as an individual especially, had to go through so much after Saba Odi. He had to watch his crewmates get separated, and then he got separated in an island that he didn't know, with no friends for the first time ever. Then he had to go rescue Ace. Impel Down had to gather allies. He didn't have the Straw Hats. He had to make up his own crew and go along with it. He was in Marineford, struggled against everyone, lost God knows how long in his lifespan, and then at the end just failed to save Ace. Everything from Saba Odi to Marineford was Luffy's downfall, and I feel like that showed us something. It just the self-actualization of Luffy, that he understood that he was not strong enough, and the determination to get better, rather than just being this clumsy idiot who just roams around the world trying to become king of the pirates without actually trying to get better. Like, I thought that was a very good light, and I feel like that was needed to be reminded. Luffy needed to be reminded of that after post time skip, and the best time to do it was against Kaido. Because honestly, if Luffy didn't in fact awaken Gear 5, there was no way that he was going to beat Kaido. And I feel like the chances of Luffy beating Kaido without unlocking Gear 5 is 0%. And even while unlocking Gear 5, he's had help, but we could go into that argument for for centuries on end. And what I'm trying to say is, I wanted that. I wanted that setback for the Straw Hats because I feel like that would give them one final push to go up against Blackbeard. Because Blackbeard, although from what we see thus far, seems very weak. Not very weak, but weak. Like, he's not on par with hype as the other Yonkos like Big Mom and Kaido. But dude, anyone who tells me that Blackbeard pirates are weak should understand how writing a story works. Blackbeard has been built up to be the final antagonist for Luffy as a pirate, and he's not gonna be weak. The Straw Hats are not gonna have an easy time. And from the way it looks, they've gotten definitely stronger than the last time we've seen them. They've got devil fruits. We don't know anything about their haki. We don't know what abilities they possess. We haven't seen them fight for their 100% potential. And I feel like the Straw Hats were never prepared. And even at this point in Egghead, I still feel like Luffy still isn't prepared to face off against Blackbeard. But it's Oda's story. Oda does what he wants. And I feel like another setback doesn't make sense at this point. I'm not saying Oda does it, or I'm not saying that it has to happen. I just wanted it to happen just for the thing of it. Because just escalate what happened at Sabaody 10 times higher, and then you get a better post-time skip or something like that. But anyways, I feel like now it's time to praise Oda for what he's been doing thus far. With Egghead, it's been going very fast, everything's fast-paced, and I don't think we have time for another setback, and then another build-up, and then another separation, or another time skip, and then go to beat Blackbeard of the world government. I really don't think that's gonna happen, and it's very unrealistic to think about it for me, but here's something I have to praise about Oda. The way he's been handling the story, the way he's been improving the Straw Hats, little by little with every fight they face, I feel like it's something most writers wouldn't be able to do. Because remember, most times with most stories, most shonen stories, in fact, the characters always get a training arc, and then go face off against the big bad. It's a very rare occurrence where, for a long period of time, the main cast, correct me if I'm wrong, like other than Tournament of Power maybe, where Goku got Ultra Instinct, Vegeta got a new form, you guys can mention it, but I have not really seen this. With most shonens, what I've seen is the characters go through the training arc, they become stronger, and they face off against a bigger and better antagonist. But with One Piece, it feels like after post-time skip, that was the only training they needed in order to make themselves on par with everyone else on the Grand Line of the New World. And now at this point, it's just what really said. Your haki will improve after every fight you face. I cannot teach you any more than this. And it sort of applies to every single one of the Straw Hats. Experience, and this is something that is very applicable to the real world as well. Experience beats book knowledge. No matter how much training you do, if you don't have experience, it won't matter. So the way Oda's been handling this, where every Straw Hat gets, like most Straw Hats, get this constant upgrade, arc after every fight they go through, and more realizations start to come in, and they start to unlock new things that they never thought they would. I feel like this is very good from a writer's perspective, and I think that changes the game up a lot. Like, skip all the training arcs. The training arcs are gone. Make those training arcs into, fighting arcs, and where we fight and then train at the same time, and that I feel like that's insane. And okay, I did forget the Straw Hats, not Straw Hats, but Zoro and Luffy did get a training arc in Wano, but that's whatever. I'm not saying that's not a training arc. I'm just saying that it's not the kind of training arc that would get them to from level 50 to level 75, the way it happened at Sabaody. I just wanted another Sabaody. I'm probably not gonna get it, but the praise I have to give to Oda for the thing he did with the story and how he's been handling it, props. Let me know what you guys feel. Is there a necessary requirement for another time skip? Do you guys mind the way Oda's been doing it right now? Fight and then learn, fight and learn, fight and learn for every Straw Hat? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And if you guys enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe. Until next time, peace.